Good morning.
Good morning. Good afternoon, wherever you find yourself in life.
All you faithers and framers.
Hopefully a faither. I don't care if you're a framer or not. Hopefully you're a faither. If not, I'd like to talk to you.
Would love to talk to you.
Got some good news for you.
How you feeling this morning, Captain?
Hungry after this long day.
Yeah.
Hungry. Very hungry.
Very nice. Very nice.
We are in Kingsport at Cumberland Marketing.
Yes.
And we actually have Cumberland Marketing royalty.
Royalty.
We have Tori Humphreys,
Very nice.
VP of
Tori.
Operations.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Love being introduced as royalty. That
Well,
has not
You're
happened
heir
before.
to the throne.
I've learned it's a family business. Yeah, it made sense. That's just what rolled off the tongue.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
And thank you guys for the space.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the space.
You guys
This
have
is
a
cool.
beautiful office here.
And they have lamps.
And they have lamps.
We're big fans of lamps. We love lamps.
Like brick.
I was wondering what your perception was going to be of our studio, because I'm sure you've been in a lot, but it's like we don't use it as much as you would think.
Most don't.
It's easier to just go on location.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
On
easier to go
location.
on location because that's where the client is.
Yes.
No, studios, blank space. That's really what you need so that you can use it for your need.
I think 90% of studios nowadays are used for headshots, for corporate headshots.
Pretty
really.
much. That's about the only time we're in here.
Yeah.
And we like it. We like being out in the field.
Oh, yeah,
I like
for
being
sure.
on location. But we do appreciate the beautiful lamps that you guys have here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
Jared, meat and taters. Get us to the meat and taters this morning.
we introduced you. I introduced you as royalty, but I would like for you to let our audience know who you are and kind of how you got into marketing, and then more specifically, how Cumberland Marketing came to be.
Sure. Okay. So I actually, when I say I grew up in the business, I literally mean I grew up in the business from a very young age, because my dad, I guess I should start there. My dad founded the business in 1987.
Very cool.
And so at that point in time, he was selling promotional products.
Sure.
That was his bread and butter.
So like koozies and
Anything you can put your logo on.
rad.
There you go.
That's where he
Branding,
started.
marketing.
Take me back to the koozie days.
Well, we still sell koozies. We have a whole department that is still promotional products.
I may
Very
need to
cool.
purchase a
So
couple of koozies.
that's pretty fun. T-shirts, koozies, hats.
Yes.
And then there's been some just crazy things that people have wanted to put their
Oh, yeah.
logo on, like
Yeah.
underwear,
What?
Might as well.
socks.
I don't think that's good
like,
marketing, is it?
Well,
How many eyeballs are...
I don't know.
Anyways,
but you can
depends.
put a logo on anything.
evidently.
apparently there's a lifestyle for everybody.
Yes. So when I say I grew up in it, I just mean like he would come home and I would get to hear him tell about what was going on,
Yep.
problem solve,
Right.
like talking to my mom about
Yep.
things. Like I just got to hear it firsthand, and I was always just fascinated by it.
Yeah.
I would spend a lot of time. I had a huge imagination.
Okay.
I would go to my room and play like I either owned a business
Yep.
or I would be a teacher, or I didn't matter what I was doing. I just wanted to like help solve problems.
Gotcha.
And I would sign fake checks. Like
Okay.
it was just like I knew
Oh,
I wanted
man.
to be in the business world, like just
Yes.
from a very young age.
That's wild.
Yes. So then promotional products. So one thing that always comes along with that is people are sending you their logo.
Yeah.
And you start to realize, that could use a little bit of work.
Yeah.
Or they say, I have a logo, but I really need a whole brand.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
so the business kind of naturally evolved.
Then you progress.
And so he started realizing, I need a designer. And then
Yep.
and things just kind of, evolved from there.
Yeah.
I started working in high school. I would go to our gift shop, so Eastman
Okay.
contracts us to run their store gift shop.
Okay.
Super random.
That is
there's,
random.
There's a store in the Toy F. Reed Employee Center. There's like a physical
What?
gift shop
For Eastman.
for Eastman that we
Where you
manage.
buy all kind of Eastman gear.
Yeah, so if they have new hires, like they can go in and get all their,
okay.
all the things with the
Get
logo.
all the brand.
I got you.
Yes.
Before the brand. Listen,
cool.
we're East Tennesseers, and I have never known that Eastman had a gift shop.
They do
No.
have a physical gift shop.
They
and
want
so,
you before the brand. I like it.
But one of my first like dreams as a young teen, I guess. I was
Yeah.
like, I just want to work the cash register. I just really want to work the cash register.
Well, I mean, that's what you'd done in your spare time as a
Exactly.
kid, right?
Yes, I had the fake cash register.
And
I just
grooming
wanted to
yourself.
use the real cash register.
Yeah.
So my senior year, last half of that year, I got to go. I left school early to go to the gift shop and work, kind of like a work-based learning program. Got to realize that dream of actually using the cash register, which was so fun.
And customer service.
Customer service. I just loved making, like, it was, stocking the back room. Like, it was little things, but I just loved any type of problem solving that went into that. I also, as a kid, really enjoyed, well, I already said problem solving was my thing. I made up a fake business.
Okay.
I called myself the #1 solutionist.
Oh,
Yes.
What a title.
I like that.
Anybody who would come in my office
Yeah.
and tell me their problems, I just wanted to help them solve it. So
So while most little girls were playing with Barbie dream buses, you were playing with the Dad Burn Barbie Business Bureau.
you know what? I
BBB.
was, but then I was also playing, house and those things
Yeah.
on the side. So it kind of was like,
But you were
can
playing
do both.
real
You
things,
can do
though.
both.
You're doing the real
Yeah.
thing too.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that on your placard, #1 solutionist?
No.
Oh.
No. But anyway, started there.
Yeah.
And got to just see that whole side of things. That's where I got introduced to promotional products, from a sales standpoint too.
Okay.
And then a spot opened up for accounts payable and receivable.
Okay.
And so I actually got to start doing that, which was great because from a foundational standpoint,
You're
if you're
seeing a
going
lot.
to be heavily involved in a business,
Yep.
it's so great to know every little
Yes, every aspect.
So I kind of worked into that. I loved that was a lot of just checking boxes,
Yep.
which my brain, I just do well if I have a bunch of boxes to check.
So you're systems oriented.
Yes,
Very
Okay.
systems
very
oriented.
much so.
I got you.
But then also started doing promotional product sales, being the actual rep, talking to the clients, and then moved on to marketing stuff. Nick got involved with the video aspect.
Okay.
He came on because we used to make videos as kids too.
Okay.
We
I
have
gotcha.
a whole remake of Hot Rod. I don't know if you've ever
The
seen
movie
Hot Rod.
Hot Rod? Wow.
Is this publicly consumable via web? Anywhere.
No, but
That's cool
we have
memories
it
right
on.
here.
I think me or him could probably find it on our phones and show
I
you.
would like to watch that,
Very
actually.
low quality.
That needs to go live.
But
at
it
some
was
point in time.
it was stuff like that. We used to make fake commercials.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So it was just from a young age, we just both had this.
You were immersed in it.
Yeah, this is
immersed
ingrained
in
in
it.
your guys' DNA.
Yeah.
I can tell that.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it has never been about marketing necessarily for
Sure.
me as much as it is just the problem solving and
Yep.
I don't know. It's just fun.
This
Well-
reminds me of the meme, Mom, this is not a phase, it's a lifestyle.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah.
them. That's them when it comes to this marketing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's
Well,
crazy.
I guess if you could oversimplify marketing, I mean, it is solving a problem.
Yeah.
Yep. Which probably a lot of jobs are, but
Yeah.
this one is just the one that stuck and is fun.
Yeah.
Well, marketing's the spearhead though. For any solution, you have to let people know
That you.
that you are the solution.
Yeah.
That's true.
You
Yep.
can't just expect people to come to you. You have to have that spearhead, and that's
Yeah.
what marketing is. And a lot of times that is followed beside your sales force.
Yes.
Marketing and sales go hand in hand. Those are the spearheads when it comes to getting the word out there for things.
So what is Cumberland's mission,
Mm-hmm.
and how do you guys serve the community?
Well, it is funny that you ask because this has been over the last 6 or 8 months kind of an evolving,
Okay.
it changes, but your business should change and how you serve
Yes, it should.
people should change. And you should pay attention to patterns that you
Yep.
see and
Yep.
all those things. So we've kind of really been just paying attention to that
Right.
for our own company because we do a lot of that for other people.
Yes.
But it's marketing yourself is sometimes
Tough.
the hardest.
Yes.
But what we've come to realize is just that we truly best serve those who are serving others.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't really mean that from a lot of people think, oh, so nonprofits. It's really not just nonprofits.
Right.
It's when we sit down in a room with people who are sharing with us, here's our dream, here's our vision, and they are speaking from a place of we love this and we're doing this for this reason, and
Yeah.
it's usually serving others. Oh man, we can just get fully on board with
Oh, yeah,
that,
yeah.
and we can serve them.
So
got
you
you.
know your people.
Yes.
You know who you're targeting.
Yeah, because we've tried to pinpoint like the ones that we've done the best work for. Those things, it really comes back to what was their posture in serving their clients,
Right.
and the ones whose posture was service.
You can kind of align with them at that point.
Yes.
It's like, I see it, I can help.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's awesome. Okay. What would you say would be a perk to a business working with a local agency? How much do you think that? I personally think it's a huge perk. I would love to hear your perspective.
I think it's a huge perk as well. Looking back at some of my favorite client projects, they were ones where I was actually a client of theirs at some point in time.
There you go.
Or,
So you're in the trenches with them at that point.
yes.
Yeah.
So you kind of can already, I love when I'm able to put myself in their shoes and like think of problems before they've even voiced it.
Right.
So, that typically only happens with locals.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that's hugely important. And I love that we're able to serve so many locally.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that for sure. What would you say is your favorite? And I think I already know the answers. I think you've already answered it. But what would you say is your favorite thing about marketing as a service, as an industry?
My favorite thing about marketing in general definitely is the problem solving.
There we go.
It's just the nature of it.
Yeah.
And I think with problem solving comes when people trust you. Like
Yes.
it's one thing to solve a problem, but it's another when, it's people's livelihoods. It's their heart, soul, vision.
Yep.
It's what they want to do forever. And when you get to play a part in that, the problem solving, and they trust you, it's magic.
Yeah. Okay.
And I applaud you guys for that. We, I think now more so than any time in our country, in our economy especially, like we look at small business owners who are every day trying to make it. They're trying to make sure that their business does not fail. And for us to be a small piece of that, I don't take that lightly. And I know you guys don't either, but it's always cool when you can see those small businesses on the other side of that equation point back to you and say, this actually did help us. I know whenever that happens for us, it's such a wonderful feeling knowing that we helped the next guy down the road.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know you guys are the same way in the way that you operate.
Very fulfilling at that point.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like everybody wants to do work that matters. And the only way you can continually do that and what we do is to listen to their situation, figure out how they solve a problem, and you immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you help them help more people, I don't know, it's just typically very fulfilling.
Well, ultimately, you're able to make them the hero.
Yes.
I think that's the point, and I think we mentioned this with Ryan a couple of episodes ago, is whenever you're able to make the client the hero, and more specifically, when you're able to make the audience the hero, I think at that point in time, that's when you separate yourself from, I'll even say, people who aren't local, who can't go get in the trenches with small businesses or with their clientele. Like, you are able to truly make them the hero. I think that's the big difference maker in between what you guys are doing versus what Joe Schmo marketing is doing that's not from here.
What would you say are some of the challenges in balancing life, business, faith? Because I actually I discovered you with it was an excerpt from one of your all's podcast episodes,
Link in description below.
and I believe the short that I'm referencing, you said something to the effect of, "You either believe God's for you or not." So I would like to hear, because it's hard. I think it's hard to find that balance of. But I would like to get your perspective there.
Yeah, from Tori, what does that mean?
Oh my gosh, that one's loaded because I have to repeat that phrase back to myself daily, hourly. Sometimes every
Minutely.
minute. Yes, minutely. And I think, I mean, I can give you guys a little bit of just backstory to that. End of last year was really, we went through a rough time as a company and just facing a lot of things, and then had to kind of do some internal like soul searching.
Yeah. Right.
And it really all comes back to that question is like, do you believe God's for you or do you not?
Yeah.
And it's been a process, but before you guys leave, I want to give you a copy of the book that I read that just changed my life. It's called Living Fearlessly by Jamie Winship. And he
I've heard
has
of this book.
You have?
Yes.
Wait, you've read it?
No, I've heard of it.
Okay. It's amazing. I think I've read it like 3 times now, and I don't read that much, but it's so
Okay,
good.
well, that
It's so
gives
good.
me encouragement because I'm not a big reader either.
I'll give it a
No.
read.
And I think you could probably listen to it too, but
Okay.
I like the audiobooks.
and he's got some incredible podcasts out too. But just the whole idea of choosing to live life fearlessly.
Yeah.
And that's so cliche. Like how many times
for
have we
sure.
heard that?
Yeah.
But from this specific guy who wrote the book, to know his life story and the things that he's faced, he was actually in positions that he could have been killed. And like,
Oh, wow.
there's just tons of stuff to it. But the moral of the story is like, we all have the ability to live life without fear.
Okay.
And that's, through our faith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But part of that is you have to believe that God's for you.
Yeah.
So as a company, just trying to even make that shift of
Yeah.
how we operate, and it's little things.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just looking at every conversation under that lens
Yeah.
and really trying to figure out like, what am I afraid of in this specific situation or this
Okay.
this project, really like challenging ourselves on that. Like,
Yeah.
what are we afraid of, and how could we best serve this client? We're gonna have to get a little fearless in this.
Yeah.
So practically, what does that look like? Because I know me and Jared are big proponents of this, and I'm this way in general. But and it's especially true like here in the Bible Belt where we live. But we hear those phrases like, you've got to live fearlessly, or like I love the little old women at church. They're like, oh baby, just turn it over to Jesus. And it's like they say that, and it's like, well, what does that mean? So like practically, when it comes to looking inside and challenging yourselves, or when it comes to approaching a client project like that, practically, what does that look like?
Practically, for me, that is allowing. I literally picture Jesus being like with me,
Yeah.
just with me.
Yeah.
Because the temptation is to be like, oh, he's just,
Yeah.
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 he's
Distant.
far away.
What is
and
the-
and if I haven't done my devotion this morning, he's real far away. And
Right.
like just those lies
Yeah.
that he's
Yep.
that you have to just work so hard to
Yep.
have a relationship with him. And the truth is he's just with you.
Yeah.
He's actually wanting.
He wants
He
to
wants
be
that
with us.
relationship. Like
Yes.
he wants that. That's
Yeah.
why we were created.
Right. So, I mean, practically that looks like before a meeting, if I'm nervous, I'm being still for a moment and just reminding myself like God is with me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if this meeting doesn't go well and it doesn't work out and they don't say yes, it's still okay.
He's still with me.
He's still with
Yeah,
me.
he's still with me.
In fact, he could have been protecting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just the mindset of him being with us.
Yeah.
So there's a
love that.
lyric in a song. It's all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good.
Yep.
I'm not gonna sing it for you right now, but
You sure you don't want to break out in song,
hey,
Captain?
I've thought about it. I do like singing. But that can be a hard thing to believe in certain moments, especially in those tough times.
Yeah.
When things are like, I don't know. I always think of like Job.
Yeah.
Job had every reason to,
Well, to curse God and die.
Yeah.
People
That's-
told him to.
but it's like, no, he like, I don't know. The encouragement from Job's story, ultimately what I'm trying to say is it can be tough to realize and understand and remind yourself that he is for you.
Mm-hmm.
He is good. Even though right now here on earth, your circumstances may not feel good.
Yeah.
May feel uncomfortable, XYZ reason. No, he's still good.
Well, that's on the personal side and the business side. I mean, I think one thing that And you mentioned it, Tori, a good point is like there's sometimes where things don't go our way, and it was a source of protection even because his understanding is outside of ours. His reasoning is outside of ours, and we're not supposed to understand everything right then and there when things don't go our way.
Yeah.
And that's as simple as me driving down the interstate and I get behind a slow car and my wife tells me, hey, this might be helping us because we're in the car with you. Not getting a wreck and die today.
Yeah.
So like, just chill.
Yeah.
He may be looking over us today. It's personal life and business.
You asked, how does this practically play out too? And there's two questions that I feel like I've been asking a ton.
Yeah.
And we all have as just an organization.
Yeah.
And these are direct questions to God. What do you want me to know?
Yep.
Yeah.
And what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And when you ask those questions, allowing yourself the time to hear
Yeah.
and listen to God, which is something that's been it's completely changed my life and opened my mind. I grew up in church, grew up all of those things, but it hasn't been until the last year, I would say, that I've really leaned into hearing God.
Yeah.
Right.
And when you are asking him these questions, he wants to answer you.
Yeah.
And so, he's not the author of confusion.
Right.
Nope.
And
Actually, the opposite.
We just haven't taken the time to ask him
Yep.
and then listen.
Yeah, you got to be still. You've got to
Well,
give him the
sometimes
opportunity to.
the answer's not in the wind. It's in the still small voice.
Yeah, Elijah.
Yeah, and then it's paying attention to the things that are happening around us when we are specifically asking that question. Practically, what this looked like recently for us was with a specific new hire. Like, we didn't feel in our gut that we had the person,
Right.
Yeah.
and then just from the interviews we'd went through and,
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. And so, just sitting in a place of God, I'm just going to sit in the discomfort, the not knowing,
Yep.
we got to hurry and figure this out. I'm
Yeah,
just going to sit in it,
Yep.
and he's going to show up.
Yep.
And he always does.
I love that.
Every time.
I love that.
Agreed.
That can be real. I'm telling you, that can be really tough, though.
Yeah.
But one thing too that we always like to try to do is, he asked us to do one thing as he left, go and make disciples. And you're like, well, okay, I run a video camera. No, our pastor calls it lifestyle ministries, right?
Yeah. Lifestyle evangelism.
Your job is to be different. I'm talking different in the drive-through line. I'm talking different at the restaurant.
In business.
Your reactions
Yeah.
are a witness of something.
Yeah.
What would you say? Because it can be tough in business to always
To point back to.
to be Christ-like.
Yep.
What would you say has helped you strike that balance?
It's challenging because there is such a fine line.
Oh yeah.
And you don't want to be the person who's like pushing your faith or,
Yeah, right.
or whatever. So I think it's when it's organic and when it's just a
Yes.
part of who you are.
There
To
you
me,
go.
that's the only way that
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah.
And so, like, for me, I'm really good at organizing.
Yeah.
things,
Okay.
Okay. I'm a joyful organizer. If
There
God
you
was
go.
going to wake me up out of a dead sleep, I feel like He would call me His joyful organizer.
Nice.
And so whether let's pretend you're my client, whether
Mm-hmm.
you ever know that I love Jesus, whether you ever hear
Right.
that come out of
Right.
my mouth, I hope you experience
Yes.
a joyful organizer because that's what God put inside
Right.
of me and He gifted me with that. And so I think so many organic conversations can come from
Right.
that when
Yes.
you're just being who God has called you to
Yeah.
be.
That's lifestyle
And
evangelism.
a lot of times that comes out in what you do,
Yeah.
but
Yep.
it's really more about being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Doing and being.
I love that. That's simple, right?
it's
I
very-
mean, we can all do that.
I think we can all do that. And to me, honestly, especially again, going back to today's times, I think that's a very good barrier of entry, especially for non-believers. A lot of people, we talk about this, that will come into church and they think that we try to, cram our beliefs down their throat or whatever. But whenever you're just living and being organically who you've been designed to be, that's a low barrier of entry, I think, for anyone
Yeah.
when it comes to the faith.
Well, there's this, I think, lie or this misconception that once you're a Christian, you have to be out like evangelizing every
yeah,
moment.
right, yeah.
And
Got to be in the street corners with a microphone.
yeah, or people feel the pressure to like, well, I'm a Christian now. I should give up my job that I love and go do X, Y, and Z
Right.
because
Yeah.
it would be more
Right.
like that's what Jesus would want me to do.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
Jesus didn't tell you to do that.
Right.
Like
No.
if he did, okay, listen to him.
Yeah,
but
he might
also,
be.
Also, you got
he
Rhonda in the
created
cubicle
you.
beside you who needs to hear
Yes.
Jesus too.
Yes. So just I would pay more attention to who he's called you to be
Yeah.
and less about what he's called you to do.
Sorry, not specifically calling out anyone named Rhonda, by the way. That was
Yeah.
just the name that came to mind.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is like, I mean, you may frequent a gas station.
Yeah.
On your way home. Every day you go and you get a Mountain Dew and a pack of gum. I don't
Yep.
know, whatever. There's a reason, right? I mean, that there's someone is going to cross paths with you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the store owner. Maybe it's the person who's behind the register. Like there are opportunities. And I always think of the situations where something bad happens, right? The world's looking at you to react.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, how are you going to react?
Yep.
If you react the worldly way, the negative way,
The way that I want to react.
and true, hey, full transparency, I do that from time to
Yep.
time, more than I care to admit. But like, you leave such an impression on the people when you're like, "Huh, I fully expected them to blow
Explode.
up right there, and they didn't."
Yeah.
So like that right there, it's a thought provoking.
It's the little things.
It's the little things. Who knows? A few weeks down the road, maybe that person pulls you aside and they want a personal conversation. I mean, there's no telling what can possibly happen.
I think that transcends personal and business life.
Yeah, absolutely. Our whole thing is we just want somebody to feel served.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I want at the end of whatever our relationship is, business to client, whatever, I want you to feel served.
Yeah. Well, human to human.
Yeah.
Even beyond business. For
So-
sure.
Yeah, I love that.
Miss Tori,
Yes.
thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for
being
having
on
me.
with us today.
Well, thank you for letting us crash your studio for
Yeah.
a bit.
Absolutely. Y'all are doing incredible work. And I love that we're just able to sit down and have this conversation, especially when, like, if you zoomed out and looked at both of our companies and what we do, you could easily say, like, we're competition or, like,
Yeah.
that we're in
Sure.
competition with each other on certain things. But I love that you can just get past all that
Oh,
and
yeah.
we can be like, this is just a connection.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's not. There's just so much more to
yeah.
what we do than what we do.
I've always believed that competition is a race to the bottom. That was one thing that I learned very early on in business. I'm a big proponent and fan of collaboration.
Yes.
So we appreciate you guys opening your doors,
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
letting us sit in the
Physically.
studio and talk with you guys. That's not taken lightly, so we do appreciate that.
Taking time out of your day.
Absolutely.
We appreciate it.
Folks, we appreciate some other things as well. Jared, what are those things that we appreciate from our audience if they've enjoyed this episode?
Feedback.
Feedback.
In
Stars
all
and
the
bars.
varieties. Leave us a rating.
Yes.
Comment. Review. If you hated us, that's okay too.
Yeah, good or bad. We don't care. We'll read them.
Yeah. All those things.
We'll read them. And here's the hard part.
Yeah. We'll see you guys later. Catch you guys in the next one.
Never make it hard. Okay. Peace.
Thanks, Tori.
Thank you all.